Alright, what's up guys? So, EWU Body Cam has uploaded a video titled When a Predator Realized He's Been Caught. Yeah, it's funny seeing that. It's funny because that was one show I remember I did have like a little phase where I was watching it for a little bit. But anyways, To Catch a Predator. And yeah, it's just to me, it's like you know what the business is nowadays, like when it comes to that type of stuff. Why are you still doing it? Like that's the one thing that I never understand. It's like they made TV shows about it, they got movies out there about it, whether it's a fictional or based on a true story movie. I'm saying, like, it's one of those YouTube videos. If you still fall for that, but here's the thing though, you shouldn't be talking to no minor in that way. It's like, if anything, you need to be setting an example, being a guidance that they're, not like really looking for, but like some sort of guidance that they need. But yeah, it's like if you are just going on to social media just to take advantage of kids, it's like, yeah, you deserve to get put on blast, get a body cam video made up of you and stuff. So, but anyways, let's go ahead and get to this video. Make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to EWU Body Cam for more videos like this. And with
Just so
that
you know,
being
Kate
said,
had a baby and a dad.
In April of 2024, a community is left horrified and outraged when a woman with profound intellectual disabilities is discovered pregnant at her care home in Geneva, Illinois. Kane County detectives launched an urgent investigation, confronted with the grim task of unmasking a predator hidden among the very staff entrusted to protect her. The following is
well, he
based on
worked.
official police records, and some of the following
He
footage
worked
has
at the
never been seen
place.
before. According to their website, the Markland Center is a nonprofit organization providing care for adults with severe developmental
Also, it
disabilities.
was
Multiple
either way, whether it's an adult or you shouldn't be taking advantage of nobody. That's crazy that he did that. And it's like, yeah, I don't know. I just thought it was like some, like, it's gonna be like it's a catch a predator story and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it's dark to do that, but it's that's some pretty dark stuff to be going after somebody that's like disabled and things. Yeah, that's
news
crazy.
sources state that Kate, a 43-year-old resident with Rett syndrome who was unable to speak, stand, or use her
Wow.
hands, was discovered pregnant during routine medical tests. Investigators with the Kane County Sheriff's Department compiled a list of all male employees who had access to her in late summer 2023, interviewing each one and collecting DNA samples.
Hello.
Hey.
Good, yes. Sheriff's Department.
Yes.
Yes, I'm Brooke. This is Brandon. We're both.
Come on in.
Thank you.
So,
What have they
okay.
told you so far?
So I know there's abuse and neglect, and I know one of our residents was sent to the hospital that morning, so I am assuming something happened with that resident. And I also do know it was only males that have been suspended. So,
You okay? Take a
something
breath.
that very serious happens.
And you're just so you're not in any trouble.
No, I really enjoy my job, and the fact that, sorry,
No, it's okay.
the thought of that happening is very troubling and upsetting for me.
Okay. And like I said, nobody has accused you of anything.
No, I'm 100% aware. It's
So what is he like?
No,
Oh,
you're
I'm not crying for myself. I'm upset
It's
for the rest.
it's okay.
Yeah.
oh, okay.
Have you ever noticed like anybody
Yeah, I
else?
think from now on, like in situations like that, they need to have it where there's like one female and one male, but it's like, yeah, have it where it's like, they just both like check in and stuff. But that needs to be a rule because yeah, you are gonna have it where there's somebody taking advantage of anybody in a situation like that. So
Strange around them, or anybody that shouldn't be in there in the rooms?
No,
or-
I mean, we are very, I mean, we don't open the door for everyone. And as for staff, I mean, before this incident, I never thought anyone would do something like that.
That was kind of one of our other questions. Is there anybody you would think would be capable of
I
harming?
would have never have thought this would happen at Markland's.
Okay.
Before they move on to question other employees, he leaves them one urgent request.
Catch the bastard.
After speaking with several more employees, investigators are left with no clear leads. However, they do learn that prior to the COVID pandemic, only female staff typically cared for female residents, a policy one employee said changed due to staffing shortages. Investigators move on, next meeting with former employee, 22-year-old Isaiah Fields.
How you doing? Good. You want to go in or just talk out here?
Whatever you want.
How'd the fights go? I heard you were out there fighting in Chicago.
Yeah, I was fighting in the Golden Gloves tournament.
How'd it go?
Pretty good. I lost by decision in the finals, but I was like I had him chicken legging, so
Okay.
I'll see him again, you know.
All right, good. Good for you, man.
Rivalries and amateurs. Thank you.
Yeah, it's awesome.
After briefly meeting Isaiah's mother, they head to the basement to speak in private.
So there
You
was
got a good thing going for yourself, and you're willing to just throw that all away. Throw it all away because it's like, oh, I'm seeing an opportunity to do something where you think it is benefit you, but it's one of those situations where people don't be thinking long term, like what's gonna happen to me long term. You know, if I do this, even if it's just that one time, you doing it multiple times, like eventually that stuff's gonna catch up to you. And then you're going to find yourself in this situation where, yeah, you know, you're going to be getting embarrassed on the body cam video. You're going to have people like me reacting to it and just talking about you and stuff. So it's like, my thing is this, even like, that's just the minimum of it. The court situations, the lawsuit, I mean, it's like, fam, it's one of those things where it's like, and then on top of that too, you're gonna have to take care of the child. It's like, nah, you ain't gonna just have it where it's like you do that. It's like you're gonna have some sort of responsibility. And when that day does come where it's like, you know, the kid starts asking questions and stuff about their mom and, you know, overall that whole situation, you're gonna have to tell them the truth. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, it definitely be a situation where I'm like, when the kid gets to this age, because I feel like he might try to do some stuff like, yeah, he raised the kid, but he's never gonna tell them the truth. I'm like, nah, when it gets to a point in time when this kid's like old enough, like let's say like 13, 13 and above, at some point in time, you're gonna have to take this kid to like court or something. And well, I don't know, maybe he now sitting down thinking about it, he might not be the best person. If anything, somebody might end up adopting that kid. But yeah, overall though, it's like it's one of those things where you are gonna have to explain this to the kid at some point in time, whether you are taking care of the kid or the kid gets adopted. But then at some point in time, they want to know who their real parents are, see the mom, see you, and be like, wait a minute, what's going on here? So
an incident that happened there involving one of the residents. If you can just tell me kind of what when you worked there, what's the dates that you worked there?
Like early August to like, but definitely sometime in September.
Okay, early September, late September, you think?
I honestly don't remember. It was still warm outside, so
Okay.
maybe early to mid-September.
When you were working there, what were your job duties?
I was what they call it, PSP,
PSP. Okay, I've heard that talking to people. They've said that before.
the personal support.
Okay.
But I was mainly in training the entire time I was there, so I technically didn't have any like duties that I had to do really on my own.
Okay.
So everything I did was shadowed by another person.
Okay, so you're always with somebody for the most part?
Like 90% of the time.
Okay.
Unless someone like left early or
Okay.
like one of the managers that were I was shadowing had to go do whatever
Gotcha.
managers do.
Gotcha. Did you ever have any problems with anybody? Did you ever see anybody that you thought was a little off? Like, another, especially a male employee, anybody that you thought like this guy's made some statements or he said something or just the way his interaction was with the residents?
he's the one doing that.
Not that I know of personally, honestly.
Okay.
I didn't stay there long enough to get
Chummy with anybody?
everybody, yeah.
After leaving Isaiah, investigators meet with another employee who brings up a familiar name.
Is it true that she delivered the baby?
Is it true? I'm not divulging anything. It's an open investigation.
Okay.
So I can't go into details about that.
Okay.
I can't.
Can I ask you about a certain individual that may have
Yeah.
Isaiah Fields?
That's who we just talked to.
That's who you just talked to.
Yeah. So we just came back.
Though the employee doesn't explain why he suspects him after all the swabs are collected and processed, a DNA test comes back positive for 22-year-old Isaiah Fields. On May 10th, 2024, he's brought into an interrogation where he waits for questioning to begin.
You know, these chains hurt.
Like, oh well, ain't meant for
Please, Lord
comfort.
Jesus, come to me. Please, Lord Jesus, you really bless
It's
them.
you know, it's funny because they were just saying that with Diddy when like people, and that's the thing where I'm like, fam, don't start like I guess trying to build a relate. My thing is this: you should have had a relationship with the Lord prior before you start doing all this stuff. You know, my thing is this: I felt like that relationship wouldn't even have led you down this track. All right, so but my thing is this: you had a, that's just what I was saying earlier. It's like you had a good life. Why would you throw it all away? You know, it's things like that where I'm like, fam, if you gotta do some like negative stuff or things that's gonna put down other, it's gonna put other people in a bad situation. Yeah, you whatever happens to you, you brought that on yourself. All right. So, but no, it was funny though, like with the Diddy case, and I guess they said Diddy was off up in the courtroom reading the Bible, and there somebody I think I seen it on Twitter or somewhere. Somebody was like, it's funny how like people get in trouble and then they turn to God. I guess trying to like thinking like, oh, if I pray, I can get out of this. Like, oh, they just gonna walk in and be like, oh, you're free to go. It don't work like that, bro. It's like we all seen it. Like we all like, well, we ain't all seen you, but the Lord seen you. So that's why I like, yeah, bro. Whatever punishment. The thing is this: you put somebody through some stuff. Now you gotta go through some stuff.
Please help me if I'm trying to get the Lord Jesus.
Investigators enter and read his Miranda rights.
Let me just start by asking, do you have any idea why you would be there right now? Okay, no clue? Okay.
And my thing is this: a person they ain't did nothing. Because my thing is this: me being who I am. Let's say, yeah, they put me off up in some situation like this. I'm arrested. They interrogate me. I'm like, fam, I don't know what's going on right now. You know, but you could just kind of like tell, like he's nervous. Like he knows that he's probably gonna go down for some stuff like this. But me, I've been like, bro, I my thing is this: I would have been confused, but then once when they would have like said the crime, I'm like, okay, I know for a fact that you guys got the wrong person. I'm like, cause I ain't did nothing along those lines. I'm like, that ain't even something that a person would think about, you know? So that's, I'm like, yeah, fam. I'm like, yeah, you definitely got the wrong person. But hey, I'm willing to help. I'm willing to, you know, yeah, try to figure out, with you guys, like who did this, but it wasn't me. I'll tell you that much. But because they did the DNA, I knew at some point in time they were gonna have to do some sort of DNA testing and see that he was the father and stuff. So, but yeah, it's like they, let's just say like none of that. They just brought me in because they thought it was me. I'm like, fam, do a DNA test. Do any and everything that you need to do. Get the cameras. Get all that stuff. Or yeah, video recordings. Get all that. But I'm like, I know for a fact that what you guys are accusing me of, that no, I ain't do that. So
You know why I talked to you before, right? About the Markland stuff. So
I never got any, like, you just told me it was a case of Markland.
Okay. So what I would like to ask you, what we would like to know, if you could go over again, when you worked there for that just basically a month, wasn't that long? What your training was like and what it was like after training, like what your job duties were. If you can just go over that again, I would appreciate it.
For most of the time that I was there, was just training, like the leagues. We just sat in a room and watched videos all day. That was it.
However, several employees
he's keeping like it's almost as if like he can't breathe or something. Like it's like his lung capacity just shut down because that's what I mean by he's coming off as nervous. Like he knows that he's been caught. He knows he's in trouble. Like he can't function. His body is just not functioning right.
who trained Isaiah gave a different account, explaining his duties went beyond watching training videos.
And what were your daily activities when you were training him? What were you guys in charge of?
So we're in charge of doing the CNA work, so like getting them up, dressed, changed, and then transferring them to CDS, and then repositioning them, interacting with them, and then doing the same thing, changing them, and then sending them back up.
You're training how to bathe, how to
Yes.
care for them.
Yes.
So that was part of his training as well.
Yes.
But he would have never been alone.
No.
Something like that.
How do you bathe them?
So we put them in a tub, and they have a chair, and they are completely, obviously
Submerged?
No,
Or-
not
oh,
submerged.
okay.
No, the water is running, or they have what is it called?
Like a faucet or a shower head.
So you basically sit like not like this, but a chair in a shower, and then you can take it off and
Yes.
spray them?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so at some point, at the end of your
stuff like that. That's why like a second person preferably, like, you know, okay, if it's a male doing that, then the female needs to be watching. And then same, if it's a female, then the male needs to be watching, one of the two. But you know, and it's one of those things where it's like, you know, I think I don't know, like, because I was gonna say, like, it needs to be a situation maybe if, like, if the employees like don't really know each other. But then again, it's like, you know, I imagine like working side by side and some stuff like that, you are going to end up being friends with the individual. So I don't know, I'm like, it's one of those things where it's, but I just think that, you know, it needs to be a two-person thing, and just, you know, hopefully both parties are doing the right thing. But yeah, and then at least if one person does want to do something wrong, there is a person watching and they can't do anything wrong. So
Your training was there. Were you not with the trainer anymore? Were you kind of on your own schedule during the day?
I forget what they called it, but it was like a probationary period.
Sure.
So like you were always like with someone until you were like considered like an actual nurse.
This account is consistent with what his trainers told investigators.
Would you have left him alone, or anybody for that matter, alone for an extended period of time with the resident while they're on training?
No.
Are you leaving anybody alone, the trainees with the residents or anything like that?
They're not supposed to be left alone with the residents.
As questioning continues, Isaiah insists that he remained in his probationary period until he claims he was fired for consistently showing up late.
I just like don't really like fit in too many people.
Employees who trained Isaiah highlighted odd behavior he exhibited during his training.
It's kind of odd.
Okay.
Just in general, just like very off.
Anything that stuck out to you was odd or anything like that?
He wouldn't listen. He would always question, oh, why do we have to do it that way? And it's like, you're in healthcare. It's like, there's specific ways to do certain things.
Mm-hmm.
I would say like rebellious. I know with me, I worked in the food industry, and I was kind of like that myself, you know, like they asked me to do something, or it was more so it was like it was just I was rebellious, you know, like they would tell me to do something and I'm like, why I gotta do that? I'm like that food looked perfectly fine. But they did eventually sit down and talk with me and stuff. And then that's when I was like, yeah, by the time when the place had closed down due to COVID, I'm like, there wasn't no situation where I was like, nobody had to tell me nothing. I pretty much just went out and just I made sure food was filled, all that stuff. But yeah, it's like pretty much what she said. Like, this is healthcare. You know, you can't be just playing around with a person's life. You gotta properly take care of them.
Like,
So
face offs some of the residents, and we have cameras in the classroom, and the angle of it all was just really bad. They would look at the cameras, it would literally look like he was hitting her.
I should clarify, he never actually did.
No, he never actually did.
Okay.
Thank you.
As the interrogation continues, Isaiah appears to become overwhelmed with emotion, and investigators work to put him at ease.
What's upsetting you?
yeah, because he knows that he's caught. I don't know though. Like, I guess because with the fake boxing, like if I'm cool with the person that I'm taking care of, like if they like, and that's I'm like, you know, it's something where it's just, you know, if I like walk in and I see them smiling and stuff, like, you know, I think I would try to like build a friendship with them, you know, rather than like, oh, let me just go in, like at least have it where it's like there's some sort of entertain, because I imagine, you know, being in a situation like that, it's like you would want somebody kind of like being there to entertain you rather than they just show up, don't say nothing, bathe you, clothe you, and then go on and leave. It's like, yeah, my thing is this, I'll be talking with them as if they are a normal person. So yeah, but it's like, and then being cool with them as if they're a normal person. But I don't know, I feel like that's all right, I guess. Like I don't know, but yeah, with the stuff that he was really doing, no, that's a no can do. That's why he's sitting here crying, because it's starting to hit him now that it's like, yeah, bro, you ain't getting out of this.
It's okay.
It's like, no, it is not okay.
I'm here to listen. If something's upsetting you, please let us know. We'll see what we can do to help.
Just not really like anything in particular. Just his life's not easy, you know.
I know.
Yeah, I'm like, ain't nobody's life easy, but it's like making other people's life even more difficult. That ain't gonna help. So that's why I'm like, yeah, it's just, you know, the difference between a person that did do something and a person that didn't do something, person that didn't do something, they, whatever their life, whatever they got going on in their life, that's gonna be pushed to the side, and they're gonna be focused on this and getting up out of here and stuff. Yeah, it's something that's gonna stress them out, but it's not gonna have them crying like this. I don't know. At least for me, if I got my own things to be worried about, I ain't gonna be. I'm pushing that stuff aside, and I'm gonna focus on this and getting out of this and helping these cops out, finding the right person. But anyway,
I get it. Life gives us some curveballs sometimes.
It's 24/7. I've never had the guidance of a man. My father died when I was really young.
Oh.
I don't know. I've just never really had like proper guidance, you know.
As one detective leaves the room to get Isaiah more water and a snack, the remaining investigator sits with him as his emotions continue to unravel.
Take a breath. You're okay. Not gonna let anything happen to you. You're all right. And I'm really sorry to hear that about your dad and stuff, okay? That's tough. I'm sorry. Come on.
it's like sympathetic cop, because I'm like,
It takes a lot.
I'm like, you ain't getting no sympathy out of me. I'm like, I just been looking at him. I'm like, so yeah, that was like, this cop, he's one of the good ones. You know, he's one of the ones that care. Me, on the other hand, I'm like, bro, would you cry? I'm like, how do you think that person felt? You know, you taking advantage of them and putting them in a situation where now they're pregnant. I'm like, nah, bro. It's like you ain't got no reason to be crying.
For you to sit here and allow yourself to have these feelings, you know, to allow yourself to have emotion. That can be a lot, especially in front of people you don't know.
I'm not trying to be difficult. I just think it'll be within my best interest to give it to her.
I know. All right, I can't ask you any more questions then.
I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. I'll leave you at it. She'll give you.
Hey, there's
Go ahead.
I'm telling her this.
What's that?
I'm reading them to tell.
Yeah, you tell them. Yeah, whatever.
Just so you know, Kate had a baby and you're the dad.
As investigators exit the room,
She even tried to like, you know, like beat around the bush, like, so, nah, she's like, Kate had a baby, you're the dad. Like, you know, so you could tell she wasn't showing no sympathy.
Isaiah processes the
she don't
gravity of
care.
the situation and the consequences he's facing.
My life is over. Such a idiot. Give me the opportunity, Lord Jesus.
It's too late now. Like, you probably had. That's the one thing about life, is that you will see so many different signs before you go out and do something crazy and stuff. And then there's like maybe that one big sign where it's like, yeah, there's probably a news story or an article somewhere where it's like, you seen that and you still ignored it, you still carried on. So it's like, nah, bro, you gonna have to deal with that.
Just give me one chance. That's all I have is give me one chance. I'm sorry. Please forgive me. I'll do anything. I'll do a military. I'll get married. I'll donate all my money. I'll be homeless without a car. I'll do anything, God. Please. Please just give me one more chance. Please. Please allow me a chance into this child's life. I'll be on the sex offenders list. I'll anything. Please don't make me spend years in jail. I'm begging.
Multiple news outlets have reported that Kate developed a dangerous pregnancy condition known as preeclampsia, and that the infant died after spending 11 weeks in neonatal intensive care.
Oh, wow.
However, we've not been able to independently confirm these reports. According to an official press release from the state attorney's office, on January 14, 2025, Isaiah Fields pled guilty to aggravated criminal sexual assault and was sentenced to 25 years imprisonment in the Illinois Department of Corrections, with 308 days credited for time spent in the Kane County Jail. In addition,
So,
Isaiah must
24
register for
years.
life as a sexual offender in accordance with the Illinois Sexual Offender Registration Act.
Do his whole life away on something just, yeah, I don't get that. I just don't get that at all, you know. But hey, the thing is this: he deserved those 25 years. I know people will probably be all like, "Oh, he's just young. He ain't know what he was." Nah, the thing is this: people will want to say like, "Oh, he's young. He don't know what he's doing." Fam, because what they say he was in like early 20s. I was in my early 20s. I ain't did no stuff like that. You know, so that's all. I'm like, it trips me out when you hear stories like that and people were like, oh, he's young, he didn't know he was doing. Fam, he is 20 something years old. Everybody, the thing is this, everybody was in their early 20s at one point in time. I'm like, so my question is to them people that are saying he didn't deserve it, or he doesn't deserve the years in prison and all that stuff. Did you do something like that when you were in your 20s? I know you didn't do something like that when you were in your 20s, because you're sitting down currently right now watching this YouTube video. So that's why I'm like, I'm not hearing no defenses. I'm not hearing none of that. So I'm like, he brought that on himself. He deserved them 20 something, well, yeah, 25 years or 24 years, because I think there was like pretty much it was like a year served and stuff. So yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, he brought that on himself. So but anyways, but yeah, make sure if you guys haven't, go subscribe to EW Body Cam for more videos like this. Like, subscribe to me too, and I'll talk to you guys later. Thank you guys for watching, and peace.